So now we have one question, two questions. You can see my screen, right?
How to connect multiple heat conduct fluxes to one node? Not easy. It depends really on what are they. Do they act together? You would maybe have to have more than one node, which are connected by very high fixed conductances. It's not really possible, apart from a situation perhaps where you have in a building, for example, where you're measuring the whole heat input into a building, but it has a party wall next to an adjacent building where you're measuring heat fluxes through that wall, and you could area weight those heat fluxes and say, well, this is an estimate of the heat loss through that wall into the neighboring building, and then just subtract that from the heat input into the whole building. But it's better perhaps if you have extra nodes and connect them with very high fixed conductances. So they're effectively, there's a shortcut there, and then that would allow you to add more heat flux measurements. So how is ROLBS executed? Well, that's really a question for the devisers of the test sequence, but in, for example, a test cell, then there would be some calculation procedure to devise the ROLBS sequence, and then it's really a case of switching on and off heaters, I believe.
Okay, we have another question that has come here. Can you please let us know the process to get LORD, please?
I think it will be available on the website for the DYNASTEE.
No. The request can be made to us, to myself, or to Maria Jose Jimenez, and we will send it because we would like to keep track of who is receiving the software. But it is available. Just send an email to Hans Bloem or to Maria Jose Jimenez, and we will take care of sending it to you. I hope it is the answer that the people were looking for.
There is another. Sorry.
What does LORD stand for? I don't remember, but it's mentioned as the. Do you know, Hans?
Yes, a logical resistance determination. LO is logical, and R is resistance, thermal resistance, and then determination. But I think it is well written in the manual. I think that Olaf has written it there. And it is the result of a French software program that was called Lady. And then the guy who was developing this software, he thought, well, if there is a lady, we should have also a Lord.
So the last question, or any reference to the mathematical calculation procedure for roles?
Yes, we have an article about that. I can make it available for the people who are interested in it.
But there's another type of test sequence, isn't there, Hans, which is
PRBS.
Yeah, which you have a preference, don't you?
I prefer PRBS, but people apply also ROLPS. And ROLPS is randomly ordered. The RO is standing for randomly ordered. And PRBS is pseudo-random, because pseudo, it is the person that is applying this technique. He knows exactly which frequencies he prefers to have the heating executed. So there is an article about PRBS and ROLPS, and I can make it available for who is interested in it.
So the last question now is, what are the minimum set of input data required? If you mean by the parameters, then, for example, if you're measuring just heat flow through a wall, you need a temperature either side of the wall and the heat flow. But the length of the data, then that's fairly open-ended, I would suggest. But if you are carrying out these kind of measurements, then I know the standard on heat flux, in situ heat flux measurements, they recommend, say, using, I think it's 72 hours of data, but I've carried out lots of heat flow measurements, and particularly on older buildings, and you need 2 weeks data to get a reasonable result because of the thermal mass of the walls. So it depends what your application is. Obviously, if you have a whole building, then you would have a number of inputs, but as Hans has mentioned in his presentation, if you had a whole building, you would probably try to reduce the number of inputs. So if you had temperatures measured in each room, you would then basically average them into one temperature, for example.
Okay, we don't have other question right now. So
people can always send the questions.
I'd be happy to answer any questions on Lord if people want to send them to me via the website.
so which email?
Hans.bloem@inive.org. Hans.bloem@inive.
And if you want to ask me, particularly when you're using Lord and you want to ask me any questions, then my email address is ak@gmail.com.
And remember, questions can always be sent in that we can give an answer at the last webinar on the 30th of September.